Hi, I'm Andre here with SKN Newsline, and I'm here on the sea. You know, we go wherever the news is, and so we're here on the sea at the site of the Addie-K. Of course, you remember about a week and a half ago, the story broke of the Addie-K running aground in the Newton Ground area. Well, the boat is still here, and as of recently as Monday, the 3rd of August, or the 4th of August, the boat was actually rescued or pulled aside from, salvaged rather,
yes,
from the shore, and is now out in the sea. So it took 8 days to get this boat salvaged. And the man responsible for that, for the most part, is Captain Mike McKenzie. He is from, what's your name of your company again? St. Kitts Marine
Assistant
International. And so he played a very crucial role in getting that. Captain Mike, first of all, walk us through what actually happened on that early morning hours of the Addie-K running aground here in Newton Ground.
Well, I received a call about 0300, not Sunday last, but Sunday before.
Sunday before.
Yeah, from the Coast Guard, telling me that cargo vessel had run aground in Newton Ground. Our service boat was down, so we were unable to attend with our service boat, and they needed pumps to dewater the vessel as she had run hard aground on a reef and she had been holed and was taken on water. And so we mobilized our equipment, met with St. Kitts and Nevis Coast Guard at our base in New Guinea, and they transported us on board where I did a preliminary investigation and got our dewatering equipment in place. I found the vessel was holed and flooded up over the main engines, and we put our dewatering equipment in place, got the pumps, the dewatering pumps running, and we were able to control the water inflow and get the level down to an acceptable amount.
Right. Yeah. Now the process was quite complicated to get it, you know, to where it is now, because like I said earlier, it took about 8 days before it could have actually be salvaged.
Well,
or roughly there.
Not so much that, it was the bureaucracy and agents that thwarted our efforts in getting a tug on scene, because we didn't, with our equipment, our workboat, which we did attend on Monday after we got it back into service, does not have the bollard pull. It's not designed for high bollard pull, aka pulling strength of that magnitude. That's why we have our tug,
right.
The Anzu here,
Mm-hmm.
that provides that kind of pull. So the captain, though, was a little bit hard to deal with and understand. And he did ask us to do a pull on the boat. And I explained to him that we simply did not have the capacity, the pull necessary to remove the boat. However, he insisted. So he attempted the pull, and of course it failed. Subsequently to that, we were looking at tug from Antigua that eventually got involved, and I was a man named Mr. Darwin Telemac, and Captain Nikolai, who runs the tug for the port. And the initial plan was they were going to send us one of their tugs, their port tugs, that Captain Nikolai is the captain of. Subsequent to that, we got a call saying that the tug had broken down, and so we were unable. However, Captain Nikolai got me a company out of Martinique, and the whole time we've been attempting to find local resource to offload the over 100 tons of cargo that were on board the Addie-K, and we were unable to do so. And the bureaucracy, etc., was out of control.
Yep. So eventually, Mr. Telemac came through for you once again. The earlier time the boat wasn't available, but now they were able to get another tug.
We got it. There was some confusion. The first tug that came was the Lucky D from Samara. However, the agent for the Addie-K had rejected an offer of an initial offer from the tug company Samara that was extremely reasonable, and I had recommended to the lady Jerry Ann, who had been taking control of the situation and was paying the bills and calling the shots, as the captain wasn't very coherent in dealing with it. Yep. Let's just say. And so she never received the quote from Samara, and then subsequently they sent her another quote, and it was entirely different. And I had recommended taking the Lucky D services based on the initial quote from Samara, which was much different. Right. And so the Lucky D did show up. We did establish a tow line. We had everything set up. However, we were only given 2 hours with the tug, and he had to leave. And it was unbeknownst to me that this, in fact, was what the second contract was for, 2 hours instead of having the tug on scene for 24 hours.
Right, because you need as much time as possible.
We needed time to make adjustments, do pulls, do dives, etc., evaluate the situation. We did. We received only hindrance. We received no actual help to actually expedite things. The initial tug spent from, I believe the Lucky D spent in Basseterre. She dropped her barge so she could be freed up to come and help us. She arrived 0400, I think, on Wednesday, and she sat there until she had clearance till 12 o'clock. So it was 8 hours for clearance that she could have been out here on scene actually working. So
you feel that the bureaucracy slowed things down?
Well, I don't feel it. It's a fact. Nobody was on the same page. Nobody was working together. To me, it was shocking. It was shocking the way things were slowed down. People attempting to control the situation that had no legal role to control it, etc. I don't know what most of the motivations were for it, but it's got to change. So we can't have a system that you have a ticking ecological time bomb, so to speak, sitting here on the beach. I mean, we need to have expedited clearances. We need to have resources that are free to go about their business unhindered by government and so on. Not saying there's no cross connection between the government and the private sector attempting providing the services. What I'm saying is that there just has to be a streamlined process, right. One point of contact. I'm a diver, I'm a salvage master, I'm a captain. I worked this thing, I did all the diving, I did the towing, worked with the thing, the tug, connecting lines, etc. And as a secretary, because I fielded over 1,000 phone calls in the last couple of days, and that's taking my valuable time for what I'm trained and my career is in salvage to do, is now being wasted on the telephone trying to appease the powers that be instead of having somebody who knows what they're doing attend the scene, make their valuations, get a briefing once a day, and move ahead.
Yeah. Lastly, where are we now with the Addie-K?
Currently, she came off yesterday a little bit faster than we expected. It was somewhat chaotic. It was the original plan was to move her back about 20 feet at a time, go and inspect, check for more water ingress, check the pumps, make sure that they can take care of the down flooding so that when she actually did come off, she wouldn't sink. But she was so light, when our tug clutched in, AK put it into gear, he came up on the tow line and she slid right off. And we were able to get in there with the bow line, and the tug dropped the bridles, and we were able to anchor her with just a few feet under the keel for safety purposes until we could stabilize the boat, make sure that the water ingress was controllable. Once she was anchored there, I went down, did the dives, started patching. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas of damage on the bottom of the boat. And at this point, she's 70% repaired for where she's sitting, and she's safe. There's only a small flow of water coming in, and our dewatering equipment is, well, as you can see, is there's not much water coming through the pump now.
All right. Well, Captain Mike, I want to thank you, and I'm sure the nation thanks you. The people of St. Kitts thank you for helping to save this ecological disaster and making sure that the Addie-K, for now at least, is safe until it's fully repaired.
Not a problem. That's what we do.
Yeah. So Captain Mike from Marine Assist International speaking to us about the salvaging of the Addie-K, which ran aground almost 2 weeks ago, right here in the Newton Ground area off the coast of St. Kitts. Reporting to you from Newton Ground on the sea, here for SKN Newsline, I'm Andre Hewitt.
Meanwhile, in an update, Captain Mike informed SKN Newsline that on Thursday, just 2 days after our interview, the Addie-K lost anchor and drifted away. Captain Mike was called to intervene, and through diving and his other efforts, the boat was eventually towed and secured in New Guinea. SKN Newsline will continue to monitor this developing story.